Hello. I just wanted to give you guys a heads up on how this text adventure project is going to unfold and what's coming down the pipeline and where we should be, and then also some tips on how to make a better game. Um, First of all, I just wanted to mention that there are some videos out on the T drive that will help you put your game together and make all the little coding bits in your game that turn it from just being a map you wander around into being an actual game. Those videos are in the T drive, in the text adventure folder, and then in that there's a folder called videos. That is all where that stuff is. And I'm always adding more in there, so if you haven't been there in a while, just go back and you'll probably see some new stuff. So that's a place, that's your go-to place for help, is particularly if I'm not here. Okay, so how big should your game be? By this point, you should have a good handle on your map, unless you're one of the schools that just showed up, in which case, take a look at the map on the right. That is a map from a game that I wrote. That would be a plenty big map. That might even be a little on the too big side for what we're doing in class, but it's easy to make rooms. It's not too hard. So that something like that. If your map looks like that, you're good to go. Any bigger than that, there's probably just a lot of rooms that don't really do much. Too small, anything smaller than that, the player is not really going to have a lot of time to explore, because remember, exploration is a big part of these games. Okay, let's review room descriptions and look at some good ones and some bad ones. Here's a good one. This is a north-south hallway. There are offices to the north and south, okay? Or east-west hallway. There are offices to the north and south, right? They tell me, this description tells me which way I can go. It tells me one sentence saying where I am, another sentence to say which way I can go. That's perfect. It's nice and short. Here's another description. This is a castle where the king lives. Okay, good or bad? Well, this is bad, right? It's definitely, it's too vague. Am I inside the castle, outside the castle? Where can I go? It doesn't tell me, right? So, right, you don't want your locations to be very big. You want, when you're in a location, it should be pretty specific. And you should know what's around you. So here's a better description. Outside the castle, you're standing to the south of an imposing castle, right? There's one sentence saying where I am. To the north, a heavy wooden door leads inside. A road to the south leads into town, right? So I know I can go north or south. I know where I am, right? That's a perfect description. 2 or 3 sentences. That's all you need. Here's another one. This is a large empty room. There's a sword here and a pile of jewels. What's the problem here? Well, the problem is the sword and the jewels are probably objects, and they're probably portable, right? So what happens if the player tries to pick up the sword or pick up the jewels? Well, the game will say, I don't see that here, because the sword and the jewels are just written right into the room descriptions. They're not actually objects that are in that room. So if you have an object that is portable, don't put it in the room description. Just make it an object and put it in the room, and then it will be listed out for you whenever the player is in that room. It will tell you, you see a sword and jewels here. All right, so there you go. So just to recap, don't mention portable objects in your room's description. Okay, there we go. Here's a better one. This is a large empty room. To the east, a door leads out to a hall. Better, okay. And then make the sword objects, and then the jewels, make those objects. Okay, beat that to death. All right, what else have we got? Bedroom. You wake up and find yourself in your bedroom. To the south is the living room. Like, I see this all the time. The problem is, every time we enter this room, it's going to say, you wake up and find yourself in your bedroom. I could go back into this bedroom 1,000 times. Every time it's going to say this. If what you're doing here is trying to set the scene for your game, copy this sentence and put it in your introduction. And then, so that way when your game starts up, it'll say, you wake up and find yourself in your bedroom. Perfect, good intro sentence. And then shorten up the bedroom to just mention what's in the bedroom and where you can go. Okay, make sure your game has a goal. Here are some goals to help you out in case you're stuck. Collect the treasures, escape, get rescued, destroy, fix a dangerous thing, kill a boss. All of these things can be combined in different ways. Maybe you have to kill a boss to collect some treasures. Maybe you have to kill the boss to finally escape. Maybe you have to fix something in order to escape, right? All of these are common plots, and you can combine them however you see fit. Puzzles, just some common puzzle strategies or puzzle types to get you going. There's a locked door somewhere, hide the key, in a flower pot, bottom of a box of cereal, something like that. Or maybe it's a monster drop. You have to kill the monster. He drops the key, right? You can set up doors, right? But that are controlled by buttons that are or levers that are in other locations, right? You pull a lever in the tower and it makes the drawbridge open somewhere else, right? That is totally fine. Put an object in a dark place and add a flashlight to your game, so the player has to go find the flashlight. There's a video, by the way, on how to make a flashlight. Or there's an obstacle, you have to light the dynamite in order to blow an obstacle out of your way or something like that. Those are just some common puzzles to throw out there. Pacing text adventures. Treasure hunts usually do not have much pacing. You can take as much time as you want. However, it was very common in these games to have something like food, light, or water puzzles where you're lost in the desert. If you don't find the oasis in a certain amount of time, you die. You're hungry. If you don't find food, you die. You're in the caves. If your light goes out in 10 turns, you die, right? So you can kind of combine that with the you have X number of turns to escape before you run out of light, you run out of food, the water, you run out of water, the aliens invade, the enemy invades, right? So you could start off in a castle to the west. You see the campfires from the enemy hordes gathering. You've got 50 turns to get out, to solve the puzzles, to get out of the castle, right? Like an escape room that are popular now, right? Those are very much in the spirit of these old text games. Right, you've got 20 turns to find the lifeboat before the Titanic sinks under you, something like that. Or you're trapped in a submarine, you have 20 turns to escape or get the thing fixed before you run out of air, something like that. All good things. Just trying to throw some plots out there. If you are absolutely, oh yeah, sorry, one-way passages. Also, that's another way to keep the player moving forward. Fall down a well, fall down an air shaft, have a one-way connection that keeps the player moving forward, right? I'm not going to beat it to death. Other ways, cool types of puzzles. These are very common. Describing things in ways that it's not immediately obvious what the thing is or what it does. So a U-shaped piece of metal, what might that be? You know, the player's like, I don't know what that is, right? It's a magnet. So that's how it's used in your game. Maybe you have to pull a key that's stuck in a crack or something out of the out of the floor. You need the magnet. Well. It may take the player a while to realize that the U-shaped piece of metal is actually a magnet. Here's another one. Folded pile of plastic with a valve, right? It's a lifeboat. But wicker basket with a large cloth bag attached. Well, take a guess. It's a hot air balloon, right? So describing things in ways that the player has to kind of think about or reflect upon how much, what really is this thing? How might it be used? Other types of puzzles. We can wear things in these games, so you need gloves to handle the poisonous mushroom. There's a room that's been flooded with poison gas. You need the gas mask. You need to go outside your spaceship. You need to wear the spacesuit, right? Very common puzzle types. And I think is that about it? I think that's it. If you don't know what to do at this point and you're still looking for something to do, write a walkthrough for your game, write a hint guide for your game, make the jacket or the floppy disk cover for your game. That is just a 8.5 by 11 piece of paper in portrait mode, and there's some samples on the whiteboard in the class and on the cork board. So if you want to get some samples of what that looks like, just take a piece of paper, fold it in half, draw something out in Photoshop or GIMP. We have both on the classroom computer, so that should be enough to help you make a pretty awesome game. So. If you have any questions on any of this, by all means ask. If you are finding bugs in Lantern, by all means let me know and I will fix them. So hope you have fun making your games. Thanks for watching.